I'm literally 4 months into this business.
Yeah.
I've had one launch under my belt, which was amazing for the girl that was used to, working for $10 an hour.
Yeah.
But then it was like, I got to bet on me 100% because we don't have another choice.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's really, I guess, the first big moment that I jumped without a safety net.
Yeah.
Like there, if it didn't work, we would be hosed because I
Yeah.
still need to take care of her. I mean, my husband
Yeah.
was working his normal hours. He had the health insurance
Okay.
because she still had medical problems. We were still back in the hospital at least once a month for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
An infection, some other complication.
Mm-hmm.
Um, her final big surgery was October of 2020, or no, 2020. No, yeah, 2020. So it's still relatively
Fresh.
recent. It's
Yeah.
still pretty fresh. That was her. She had a 14-hour surgery where they
Oh my
literally
gosh.
reconnected her insides and essentially sent her out into the world. Like, we don't know what her future holds because there isn't another one like her. Let's hope for the best.
Wow. Wow. What an unbelievable story. B, an unbelievable appreciation for life
Right.
now. Just this, okay, I don't have time to worry if I have enough paid time off to stay with my child. I've got to step into, and it's so interesting, Kayla, that we're having this conversation today too, because something that's really been showing up for me, coming through for me a lot lately, is the idea of taking ownership of your life and really stepping into owning your life, and how many people don't do that. And my question is why? Why do you want some sort of out from creating the life that you want to live on purpose? It makes no
Right.
sense, and yet that lack of ownership seems to be so present sometimes, and here you are in a situation that very well could have pulled you under, and it was, no, I have to step in to own this. I have to step in, I have to step up, and I have to show up because this is what we got now. Here's our situation, so let me own this and let me move forward. So when she came home, and you're working, are you now working to build a structured business around launches and online support and your
Yeah.
home? How's that looking now?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were in a very teeny tiny condo,
Yeah.
uh, which we were living in for years. And then
Yeah.
she came home and we were absolutely balancing, like taking care of her,
Yeah.
being there for our son as well, who was put
Yeah.
through the ringer. My son was actually her bone marrow donor that saved her life.
No.
They did,
Oh my
they were, they
gosh.
were afraid to use him because they didn't know what genetically could have caused this in her. And they
Yeah.
didn't know for him either. But they said she didn't have another match on the registry, the national registry. She did not have one. So they said, this is our only chance. Like, we're going to wing it and hope for the best, which was terrifying.
Yes.
But I will say, here we are. We just celebrated the third, January 19, 2020, the third anniversary of her transplant. Time just flies. And she's had no complications. And he was a perfect match, which they told me flat out, we don't expect this to be the case. It literally is the definition of a miracle.
Kayla, this is unbelievable.
Insane.
You have to be in like every medical journal there is.
We actually did sign off on a bunch of stuff for everything they did for her to, because
Goodness.
if another family goes through this, if they
Yes,
can
yes,
learn anything
yes,
from what we've
yes.
gone through, like, please take all of it. I feel like
Yeah,
I got on a minor tangent, but right, um, looking at right of building the business, making sure my son knows
yeah.
he's loved and he's not second rate, right?
Right,
Taking
right,
care of my relationship with my husband
right.
and showing up and basically adjusting to a whole new life. That's really what
Yeah,
I look at it.
yeah.
And the biggest thing that it really was for me was just really embracing like what life you have, like,
Mm,
and building a business surrounding that. Like, my clients always knew that, like, I have a daughter who's medically ill. She's probably going to have a machine that's going to beep, but I'm going to have to go turn it off. She
Mm-hmm.
might toss her cookies everywhere, and I
Mm-hmm.
got to go take care of that. Her ostomy bag might open, and I might need to go and handle, what we called a putastrophe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I built my business around that people knew this was my life. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that was what made it, I don't want to say easy, but a better integration because
Mm-hmm.
I was very upfront and honest, and
Yes,
people
yes,
knew
yes.
that.
Yeah.
And of course, you have this fear, right? And I hear this all the time. Even you said when you were thinking about starting the podcast, like, who's going to want to hear from me? I was thinking, who's going to want to work with the girl that's literally catching puke in a cup off camera in a hospital? I thought the exact same thing. And I feel like, if anything, to answer your question earlier about why is it that people don't want to take ownership of creating the life they want, I'll admit, Julie, it is so much easier to be a victim of circumstance because that was me. It was always, it's someone else's fault. And some of those times, was it valid? Yes. But I chose to say the reason why I'm only getting paid this much is because of so and so. The only reason I'm working 60 hours a week is because of so and so. And I was unfortunately, but also fortunately, right? I was backed into a corner and hit actual rock bottom. And I will admit, Julie, I think I honestly did need that to do something, as terrible as it is. But there's so many people listening who don't want to wait for a rock bottom, and I certainly hope you don't, because I can just imagine how different things could have been, right? Hindsight's always 2020. What if I had actually committed and followed through years prior?